Yeah,
It's
get
like,
that L5. Get that L5 to the side
I
over
know.
here. We don't want you leading the charge. We can't have the L5 leading the charge.
Christian put me in the middle, so it speaks volumes. Usually I'm all the way on the right.
Yeah, there you go. Is that better?
Hey, put me back. That's where Cabo Folgers belongs over there.
oh yeah.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a couple very special guests. I guess the only CrossFit L5 that I'm
like I'm in
aware of
a
currently.
sunlight glow. It's not even sunny.
Denise Thomas in the house.
Didn't
Lisa Ray is looking for the sunlight glow, but I think it's so early that there's no sunlight where you're at. So welcome, ladies. Excited to have you guys. Longtime seminar staff members, Flowmasters. Lisa, when was it? 2007, 6? When did you start with seminars?
Lisa, can you hear us?
Yeah.
when
Technology is hard.
When did you start working on seminar stuff?
Did I miss something?
Yeah.
Oh, is there a delay?
I don't know.
Is
Todd, why don't you wait? Hold on. This is the live technology. Lisa, can you hear me? Hold up a finger if you can hear me. Okay, good. Todd,
can
you
hear me?
now.
It's just Lisa.
I can't hear Todd.
She can't hear you, Todd.
It's probably for the best.
Oh no. So Lisa, we were just wondering when it was that you got on seminar staff that you started.
Oh my God.
You're just all staring at me. I guess officially came on in I want to say like September, August of 2006.
2006.
Wow.
That's so crazy.
I was 12.
What's that? You were 12? That's before I had not even heard of CrossFit at that time. So that's that's pretty incredible. It's pretty awesome. All right, Todd, why don't you try your mic again? And
yeah, we'll see what we got. Lisa, nothing?
Nothing?
No.
How is it's like is my my voice must be like a dog whistle.
I think it's on purpose.
Loud. Yeah, must be.
Denise, level 5. You can hear Todd. Can you not?
Only level 5s can hear Todd.
Yeah. Oh, well, I guess I need to change my screen name. Yeah. And Denise, when did you start on seminar stuff?
October 2010.
October 2010. Okay. Yeah. And pretty excited to have both of you on today because you're both going to be representing CrossFit HQ at Affiliate Con next week.
Next week. I can't believe it's already coming up.
Yeah, we'll get to see you guys in person next week. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you all are planning to do over there in Dallas with the crew?
El Rey is the Flowmaster of this. So
I am going to whip Denise Thomas into shape, and I'm going to make sure she is, worthy of her level 5. We have a couple of drills that we're going to run to each day, and they are the same actually each day, but if people return for them the second day, then they'll have some different movements, and we'll make it whatever they need it to be. But one of them will be called Calibrate Your Eye.
Okay.
And so just, helping people in teams of 3, they'll be cycling through different roles of being able to observe someone coaching, being able to give some feedback on someone coaching so that there's some practice there. And then the person one of the people will be coaching, and there'll be some different focuses that we'll give each trainer on a different movement. So they'll be cycling through lots of different movements throughout that period of time. So we're really excited about that one. And the second one is kind of focusing in a little bit on the coaching during kind of your teaching of the movements and the specific warm up, and using that to help make connection and help make decisions for them. So threshold training, ensuring that you're getting to everyone, kind of helping them know who's going to go up in weight, who's going to have weight, period, that kind of stuff. So both of those are going to be really fun drills.
That's awesome. Denise, what is your role going to be?
I am a minion. I go where I'm told to go. Lisa says jump, I say how high. No. Myself, Katie Powell, now Katie Hayes, and Connor McDonald, and maybe Nicole Christensen, depending on if she can get in there and help. We're going to show some demonstrations. We're going to run some small groups and just basically facilitate the work that Lisa just described.
That's awesome. I am really excited about that. I'm not quite sure my schedule, but I definitely am hoping to be able to come attend that and maybe be a participant and learn a little bit and work with some people. It'll be really cool. All right, Todd, you left your back. Let's check it.
Can you hear me? How are we doing?
I hear you.
Way better. So I want to know more about, like, you were mentioning being able to make connections. Like the drill is going to be around being able to make connections during the teaching and get a better feel. Like what does that look like? Give us a little bit more insight into what does that actually look like?
How you're getting around your group. And there is a couple of things that we use, drills that we use in the level 2 to ensure that we're making connection. And one of those is called 2-1-2, where you scan a couple people during the time that they're in setup positions, and you can give some corrections while they're sitting still. Your eyes are moving when they're sitting still. And then when it's time to call a rep, going to just one person, looking for one thing, whatever the thing is you taught, looking for that one thing in one person, and then quick cue. And then as they're at the finish of the position, you can scan again and grab maybe a couple of quick corrections as they're at the top of the movement or the bottom of the movement, whatever that is. And so that's just allowing you to kind of move your eye through the group and get quick corrections and just understand where people are at and making evaluations in those moments of whether that is a good position or something from a performance standpoint and or a safety standpoint.
Yeah, clearly there's going to be way more corrections if you're doing something like that. Denise, what's the other value of like using those static positions at the beginning and ending of the movement, along with, obviously focusing on what you just taught in the dynamic phase? Well, in addition to obviously getting more cues, what else does it do for us?
It's a good question, Todd.
You're an L5. You should. I would think you would have an answer to this.
Oh, yeah. I do.
Teach her that when we get there.
So I think it's important to remember when we're in a CrossFit class that we're servicing a large group of people. And what we promise when we pay an affiliate fee, a membership fee, is that we are going to make sure that you feel attended to and special. And this drill that Lisa was talking about is threshold coaching, really. It's how quickly and effectively can you make those corrections and make people feel seen so that they do feel like, as back in the day, Greg's members would always say, he always felt like they were watching him, that he was always watching them, no matter where he was. And the 2-1-2 allows us to have class engagement. So you never feel like you're not being watched. But as simple as it is, it's really hard to do. And I think we just need to bring some attention to how hard it is by giving them a certain amount of time that they are allowed to hold them in the bottom. So you get about 5 seconds max, and then you pull them back up. So not only is it, let's make them better, but it's also, let's make sure we can use this to engage the group so people don't switch out or switch off, and you're not only working on the person that's right next to you. And I can hear an echo. Can you hear an echo?
I can.
I can.
I think it's
Lisa. Lisa doesn't hear it. You might know
Anyway.
who that
Sun
is.
is taking longer to come up where you are.
Yeah.
The computer.
Should I get on a different computer?
Maybe we have Lisa log off and log back on. That's my only technical solution for anything.
Just restart it. If it doesn't work with restarting, it worked for me.
Unplug it and then plug it back in.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
That didn't work. You got to buy a new one.
It's definitely, Lisa, you're
causing it.
You're a bit of a delay. Yeah, you could turn. Christian says you could turn the volume down a little bit.
Jens. That's right, Jens.
Jens says it's the L5 echo. It goes through the walls. It's just like I want everyone to hear all the goodness that Denise has to say. So we need to say it twice. That's better.
I turned down my volume. Is that better?
Yeah, I think that's better.
Weird.
Yeah.
You're gonna get it.
Oh.
Now, question for the two of you, just to piggyback on this a little bit. You know, Lisa, I know Denise, you do a ton of coach development working with gyms. Lisa, you were doing the level 4 evaluations for a while, so you also have opportunity to see a lot of different coaches from different gyms and different locations. Is the 2-1-2 style something that you notice isn't implemented as much as it could be, like across the board?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a learned skill that it's not understood, and I think people are becoming more aware of it through, going through the seminars, but definitely the tendency is to just sort of scan the room
Mhm.
with your eyes, and walk around and, say names and, have eye connection. And there's good communication in that regard, but the tendency is just to kind of look, big swaths during go, 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 and probably catching some stuff, but then giving global cues rather than specific people. When I'm seeing this and I'm seeing that you guys are doing that, and it's really only 1 or 2 people, I feel like the coaches do see it, but aren't targeting it necessarily.
It's so interesting, and I see this and experience it, and then I say it all the time of like, when I tell everybody to do something, hey guys, I'm seeing this, make sure you guys all do this, almost nobody does it. When I say, hey Lisa, push your knees out, I look around the group and like everyone does it. So it's like,
don't say my name.
say one person's name and like everybody does it. Whereas if I just generally talk to everybody, almost nobody does it. And actually, like Cabo, you and I were talking about this yesterday, of one of the most challenging things for people to do with this concept, this static concept, is just to say something. And we both agreed that it's kind of like, it doesn't even really matter what you say. If you say something and attach somebody's name to it, people are going to start working a little bit harder for you. And I think when we challenge people, I know for myself at like L2s, when I'm trying to challenge somebody that's doing a good job to try this concept, sometimes they almost get paralyzed by like, well, I don't really see anything that's super obvious or that's standing out, or they're looking so long, Denise, to your point, to where now they're making somebody hold the bottom of the squat for 20 seconds. And we all know that that's not going to last very long. Is there any tips, Denise, that you give to people when they're trying to understand this concept, just to get used to like saying something and not holding people in too long of positions and not looking for the most obvious version of one of those faults or something like that?
Yeah, I think there's levels to this 2-1-2. And I think that we sometimes, and I'm assuming, but I think that we as trainers that have been doing this a long time and we've been given constant feedback as a red shirt and told, like, get your head up, give us something, look here, get your head up. I think we can take that for granted sometimes in how hard it is and how long it's taken for us to hone in on that skill, and we're still not there. So to take somebody in an affiliate who maybe coaches 1 or 2 classes a week and expect them to be able to do this, I think they understand the concept that, yeah, look up, give something, and then zoning back in. It's really, really hard with all the other pieces of the class that you're trying to manage, timelines, personalities, you name it. So you and Cabo said you talked about it, and I really do think you've got people who just need to get into the habit of looking up, calling somebody out. It doesn't matter what it is, and then going back to the person next to you. And that could take 3 months, because think about 3 months, that's 4 weeks. Let's say they do 2 classes a week. That's 8 classes a month. That's 8, 16. That's 24 classes in 3 months. Some people do 20 classes a week. And I think sometimes it's easy for us to forget how hard it is and how stressful it is. So that my tip would be to do that. First of all, is just look up,
just do it.
be better. Lift your head, be better. Just do it.
Be better.
Well, just be better. Be fit.
Do it better.
But look up and just say, Lisa, great job with the elbows. Even if the elbows are touching her kneecaps when she squats, right? We're not even at the point yet where they can actually look at something, identify whether it's good or bad, process what that is, then process what cue they need. And we're not there yet, but they've just got to say something. And I think that needs to be developed within a class with another lead coach, where you're just going to walk around with the lead coach and do some drills with that coach, even just for a small section of the class. Maybe just like one movement in the specific warm up where you're walking around with them and you're telling them, look there, say this, and then they can hop out. But it's really hard. It's hard to do. Reps, you need the reps.
Yeah, a lot of times I'll try to give some insight of like, I call these things grenade cues. There's certain things that anybody can do better every single time. It's like, hey, you can get your weight more in your heels. You can squeeze your abs more. You can press up harder on the bar if it's overhead. So a lot of times when I'm working with people and challenge them to do this, I'm like, hey, you don't even have to see it going wrong, but I promise if you go, hey, Kristen, squeeze your abs, she can probably squeeze them more than she is. You don't even have to look to see that. So it's like, like you're doing, it's like you're pulling the pin and throwing the grenade, and like, it just gets you used to saying the thing. It focuses on a body part or a point of performance that you know is important. And as we just discussed, when you say somebody's name and give them a cue, most everybody else is going to do it a little bit more. And people just working harder is going to make them better anyways. And then I think the next evolution of that, once, to your point, you get comfortable saying something, then you can actually look and see is if you can start to memorize what people do. Because now it's like, all right, I looked the first time around, I saw somebody like, Lisa has the tendency to overextend when she's overhead. And so now when I get past her, I don't even have to look back. I can say that cue again, because more than likely she's going to revert back to her habits. And so the more we practice and the more we do it, the easier it's going to get, because it just starts to snowball on each other. But to you, everybody's point, it's like, we've just got to start the process a little bit.
Yeah, I love when Denise, sorry, I was just going to say, I love that you're like, it doesn't matter if you're like, hey, good job with your elbows, even if the elbows are almost touching the knees. And that is so important, to just get in the habit of saying something, even if you're not quite sure if it's the right thing to say. Because so many coaches just get paralyzed because there's so much pressure to be like, I've got to give the right cue. Are their elbows low? Should they lift them up? And then they end up saying nothing. But just saying something, even just giving yourself permission to say the wrong cue, to make a mistake, to not cue the right thing. It doesn't matter, just to get into the habit of it. And I love Jens L4 over in Germany.
Yes.
Simple to follow. Start with one, just one thing, right? No empty reps.
Every single rep. Yep.
1 and 1. Right? We call it 2-1-2, and this is something we stress all the time. It doesn't have to be literally 2-1-2. It can be 1-1, 1-1-1.
Tell me, give us, just for anybody that we've said it a couple times, but I don't think we've defined exactly what we mean by 2-1-2. What are the two? What's the one? What's the two, Kristen?
The 1 is going to be our static position. So the setup position, right? Oh, sorry, the 2. Yeah. I'm reading his one. Let me remove this from the screen. There we go.
In his case, you're right.
We're starting in the middle. Okay.
One, yeah. So the 2 is going to be our static position, usually the starting position, right? The reset position. The 1 is now going to be a dynamic. So we have to only watch one person at a time. Go ahead.
In the static, what are like, yes, that's a static, but what does the 2 relate to?
How many cues we're giving. Yeah.
Okay, so we're trying to give 2 cues in a static position.
And then we're going to look at a dynamic for one person, one body part at a time, and then give that one cue. And then we're back to another static position. So receiving position, finish position. And so the goal is to go back and forth between the 2. We scan, give a couple cues for static, focus in on one thing for dynamic, and then lift the head up again and scan and give a couple more things for another static, and then just keep going back and forth between those positions the entire time.
Yeah. Now looking back at Jens's comment of like, hey, I just need to get comfortable giving at least one cue on every single rep. That's awesome. Now let's get comfortable giving one static cue and then watching one person in the dynamic and either giving praise or a cue. And then you can start to add on from there. Right. And so we say 2-1-2, but we don't expect anybody to start with that. And there's certain movements where there's not even like 2 on the backside to even like something on the backside to even do that with. So it's just a concept. Go ahead, DT.
2-1-2. 2 people or 2 cues? For me, I think 2 people, 1 person, 2 people, 1 person. And that could be 2 cues for 2 people. But is it two? Because you said 2 cues, okay, but I didn't know if, just to clear it up.
Yeah.
2 people or 1?
2. I try to do 2 people.
Okay.
But,
You know, something else that's helpful though, memorizing a cue. It seems so fundamental and elemental, but we say it at the level 1, go memorize, yes, the points of performance, but also memorize some of the common faults and memorize some common fixes. So if you're doing a front squat and all you're going to say that day is elbows up, like put that in your plan. If you're a newer coach, that needs to go in your plan. I am going to say, when I say squat, my cue, I am going to look for elbows dropping, and my cue will be elbows up, because what will happen is, 1, they only have one thing to say to cue, so they'll remember it. And 2, they'll actually probably naturally start saying other things because they'll see it, and human beings are amazing. They adapt and like in the moment. So I think we talk about memorizing points of performance, but where's the emphasis on memorizing like a common cue?
Yeah, I like having that cue and relating it to the point of performance. And I think that's the thing, especially at level 2s, when we challenge people and give them homework after day 1 of like, hey, you've got to create a lesson plan. And that lesson plan should include how you're going to teach the points of performance, whether it's layering them in, whether it's using teaching progressions. And then I always say that you need to, next to the progression step or the layering point you're going to do, you need to write why that's happening. Meaning, if I'm going to have somebody dip and hold in the push press, why am I doing that? It's because the torso position should be upright. And then next to that, I want you to write down what you expect to go wrong, which is the torso to come forward. And then next to that, write 2 or 3 different cues on how to fix it when it does go wrong. And so now you not only know what you're going to teach, you know why you're going to teach it, you know what to look for, ideally, that's going to go wrong. And then you can start to have an idea on how to fix it. And I think this kind of goes in line with Grant's question here. As a brand new L1, I find it so hard to have a good eye for faults. If I record an athlete, I can identify the faults if I see it in slow motion. But the quick, fast-paced environment, it's hard to see. And more often than not, why would you guys say it's tough for new coaches when they're trying to look at movement in a fast environment? What is it that makes it so hard to see outside of the fact that it's fast?
Probably looking at the whole body all at once, or all of the people all at once in the group, rather than focusing in. And it may be how they taught it, just kind of giving a lot of information about what the movement is and what they're supposed to do, rather than focusing it down onto one little thing at a time, so that their own eyes are focused on that one little thing at a time.
It's almost counterintuitive, right? It's like we want to do everything at once. So we like either teach it all, or we just look for everything at once. And we're like, all right, I'll see what's going on and I'll get it fixed. When in reality, if we try to do less, we're able to do more. And I think to your point, and Grant, I think this is the big thing, is like, we've got to know what the points of performance are, and then we need to look for that specific thing. If we go back to the torso position in the push press, it's like, when I say go, I need to focus my eye on one person. And not only that, I need to look at one of 2 body parts. More than likely for me, I start by looking at the hip. Does the hip go straight down or does it go back? If it looks like it goes back, I'm going to watch the next rep and look at the shoulder and the bar and see if it goes forward. If we do that, even at a fast speed, it gives us more of a chance to see. And I'm sure you guys see this at level 2s all the time, where it's like you slow it down, you go, hey guys, look right here. And all of a sudden the people are like, didn't see anything because it's a subtle version of the fault. It's obvious for them. So I think that's a big piece, Grant, is like, know what the points of performance are, and then know where to look specifically for those, and then be disciplined enough to look for that. See, what do we got here? Even if you give an incorrect cue, it's still a reminder for them to keep that part of the movement on their mind as well, and can maybe be improved, even if it wasn't what you meant to say. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
You know what? It's also, I think, newer trainers, and maybe even trainers that have been doing it for a few years, need to give themselves a little bit of grace too on what is quality movement and what does it look like. Because your eye, if you think something is good, let's say we're doing the dip and you think that this is good, and you look and you're like, yeah, it looks good to me, then that's your standard. And in the beginning, you are going to think that maybe less ideal movement is good. So you're probably giving the right cue based on where your level of quality is. And over time, if you put yourself in the right environment and you ask the right questions and you ask for people to raise your standard, you will start to develop a higher sense of what quality movement looks like.
How do you, like, what do you tell people to try to push their standard, like to improve their standard of what they think quality movement is? Because to your point, like I think of this, and I see this all the time, is like with coaches in general, especially newer coaches, you've got a class of diverse athletes, right? You've got your experienced athletes and the ones that probably score the best in the class that do pretty good. You've got your intermediate athletes, which are most of them, who have probably some major things to work on that you're aware of. And then you've got your brand new athletes. And those are the ones that you're like, oh my gosh, they need my attention, or something's going to go wrong. And so where do most people point their attention is to those newer athletes, and the ones in class that are pretty good and move pretty well and are going to perform pretty high. It's kind of like, well, I know they're not going to kill themselves over there, so I'm going to let them do their thing. And so then they look, and to your point, Denise, it's like, it looks pretty good. Like that was a snatch that looked pretty good. And we've got to readjust, to your point, to not allow or accept pretty good. So how do you challenge somebody to no longer accept pretty good and to push for more, even if those athletes are already good, they score well, they're moving safely, it's just some inefficiency things?
Well, the first step's awareness, like with most things. And this, I think that's really hard to develop within a class when you're the only person. So I would recommend that you start by being a secondary coach and walking around with the head coach and having them just compare movements. Like, all right, of these three, I want you to walk around, and of these three people, I want you to tell me whose torso is the most upright. And just let them do that, and then they can come back and tell you. The homework, though, to raise the standard, I think that really has to be done in like a small group class coach development piece with your members. The person running that has to have a high standard of quality movement. And I think you can't really go wrong by not going to CrossFit.com's exercise and movement demos. And even on there, and I'll say, even on there are some where you're like, oh, we could only tighten that up. But I think that would be a really great coach development drill with your class. But I think having them just go out there, and I just want you to tell me who has the best upright dip out of these three people. Not everybody, that's too much, but out of these three people, and just start to get them to build awareness of and see where they're at. See if they can actually see pretty well, because they might. But if they don't, then we can have a little bit of a side convo. I don't know. Lisa, what do you think?
Yeah, Lisa.
Yeah, all of that. You've got to develop. You have to invest a lot of time outside of class, and 2 times a week in an hour just running a class and all of the things that you're still learning to manage. All of that is tough to develop your eye for the nuance that's going to be needed at the higher level. It just takes time. So you have to be patient with yourself too, and understand, like, just get to jump to Beethoven when you're still on, learning do, re, mi, or chopsticks. And I think that another thing Grant put in his first message there is huge. Video people, and then go home and look at it. And then to Todd's point, you're going to start to understand your people. Who's in your class? What do they normally do? What's their common theme of, kind of where they're shorting themselves, where they could, learn to be better. And when it's a higher caliber athlete, your eye's going to need to be sharper, and you're not going to get that just staring at them twice a week during a class. You have to look at it on slow-mo video a lot and compare it to somebody who is maybe, at a professional level. What are the differences? And then next time, when you go and teach that class, you're going to be able to say, hey, this is what I saw in this video, and I'm going to look for it now. Oh, I'm going to start seeing that thing now at a faster speed.
One of the things I remember doing when I was trying to develop my eye more, especially for dynamic movements, is we talked about it a little bit, but going into class knowing what the common faults were going to be. So let's say there's a clean or a sumo high pull. It's like, okay, an early pull. Most people pull early. And that would be the only thing that I would really look for that day. And I would cue it no matter what. If I was even somewhat like, I'm not quite sure, I would cue it. And then if the athlete improved even just a little bit, then it would reinforce my eye like, oh, that was an early pull. I'm starting to understand what it looks like. But if I just wait until I'm 100% sure, I'm never going to say anything. And then it's not really going to be that effective. So
I think there's a mindset that has to, I think there's a mindset that has to go into it too, of like, you need to look at movement in one of two ways of it's either perfect or it's not. And so like with a front squat, we read the manual that talks about the points of performance. One of the points of performance is a rack position. And we look and it says rack position has our upper arms or tricep parallel to the ground, bar resting on the shoulders, hands outside of the shoulders, right? We need to look at that and know that, okay, that is a rack position. Anything other than that is a fault. Period. And so many times I think we as coaches will look and be like, we already justify why it's not there. Well, that's pretty good. The elbows are pretty high and it's just a PVC pipe. It's probably a mobility issue. It's like, we can't determine why something's wrong until we identify that it's wrong. And we'll never identify that it's wrong until we actually like look at it as binary. It's either perfect or it's not. If it's not perfect, I'm going to try to fix it. I might or might not be able to actually fix it, but I've got to have that approach. And as long as my brain thinks that way, then going and starting to look at videos and slowing things down, because otherwise, if I'm just like, oh, that looks pretty good. That's, you know, that's a rack position. The elbows are up and the hands are kind of outside and, you know, there's mobility and it's, you know, it's like, that's not going to be it. So I think we've got to have the mindset there. Oh, let's see. Yeah, so we've got this question too. I have a new intern coach at my gym, my first one. What would be the first 3 things you guys suggest I should teach her? I know I've got mine, but I will wait to hear your guys'. I know.
Oh no, Todd, please go on. Let us know. Why don't we do? We'll go. Let's go. First one from Lisa. Like longtime affiliate owner, no longer own your affiliate, but you've got a lot of experience bringing new coaches on. And taking them through that process and developing them. So what's the first thing that comes to your mind, Lisa?
Memorize the points of performance.
Woohoo! I love it. Yeah.
Period.
There's no way you're going to, everything else stems from that. You know, if you don't know them, if you haven't memorized them and they're not there in your back pocket, it's be hard to do a lot of other things.
And I'll add to that, it can't be just like, I know them pretty well and I kind of know them. And yeah, I think that's it. It's like literally you've got to be able to spit them out forward and back, up and down. You know, if I was to show up in your house at 1 a.m. and shake you awake and ask you, what are the 5 points of performance for the air squat? You should be able to spit them out as you're grabbing your bat or whatever you're going to do to hit me, right? It's like, you've got to know that stuff, because any mental resource that you waste trying to remember what the next point of performance is, you're not able to be present to actually see whether they're doing them correctly or interact with everybody. It's like, that has to be there. And we continue to harp on it in coach development and the Knowledge Pro. And it's like, until we know all of those points of performance, it's going to make it really, really hard. Awesome. DT,
all right, Denise.
Yeah.
This, I was hoping you wouldn't come to me. This is so hard. I agree with Lisa too. You got to get the knowledge in. I think, I mean, if you ask me this question next week, and I've thought about it more, this might change, but I really believe you have to teach them how to scale people.
Ooh,
because even if they don't teach very well, even if they say wrong things, when it comes to the part of the workout where they're moving fast and we've got new people, I think they need to develop that skill early on, where they have to go around and try and talk to everybody about what their scaling option is. And in the beginning, they won't be able to direct them on whether it's good or bad. But I think getting into that habit of making that a priority, that you need to touch base with people and check in on what they think they're going to do. I think that's missed maybe in the development of a coach. And it's more like timeline and, say it like this. But when I think about prior triage, the part where there's most risk is when we say 3, 2, 1, go. So let's make sure we get them ready. Teach them how to intentionally scale and connect with people.
And in order to do that, where do you, like, even before you can scale appropriately, what does the coach need to know?
What are we scaling to?
Like, and that's based on Like not only like what we're choosing for that day, if it's a gymnastics movement, but we also have to have a baseline understanding of what you're coaching and
The
right?
workout. Yeah. So it's this is what we want, and we need to figure out how we're going to get you to that. So those things are hand in hand, but that would be part of the scaling process, because you can't scale without knowing how many rounds or what's the thing.
Yeah. Kristen, you have anything that you would add?
Pressure's on.
I know the pressure's on. So we said know the points of performance, understand scaling, which also of course stems down from understanding the stimulus and that type of thing. I don't know. I honestly would start there, and then I don't know if I'd put even 3 things, because the more we put in there, the less we're really going to be able to dive into the others. Maybe, I don't know. What do you have, Todd?
I think they just got to get comfortable teaching and do so, like really emphasize the tell, show, do, check process. So it's like, hey, you got to memorize the points of performance, and then I need you to be able to communicate those in a way where you're not saying, all right, guys, next I want you to work on your midline stabilization. So I need to be able to get you to practice communicating that stuff by saying it simply, showing what it looks like, telling your athletes how to do it, having them do it. And then that's going to, like, if we do that process well, that's going to facilitate and set up the opportunity for people to see and correct during the check portion of that process. So it's like, I think those 2 things cover the 2 pieces that go into being an effective teacher, right? Knowing the points of performance gives us that internal knowledge. Practicing the tell, show, do, check process gives us the ability to communicate it simply. And then, beyond that, to your point, Denise, like giving people the skills to understand the stimulus of the workout, and then how to apply that through scaling is going to be important.
It's what's also really important, and it's really important to us as seminar staff instructors, and I think it's an easy one to just say, well, they had a good time and, everybody left happy. But timeline, I think they need to know we have an obligation to start on time, finish on time, and you have to know when the work, no matter what, you have to start the workout within this time range. Is it like, if you want 35, then the longest you can go is like 37, and just get them start to build that skill set of, no, time does matter. And we can't just fall back on the member experience, or everyone was having, there's going to be times where we go over class and it was the best day of this athlete's life, and that was worth it. But those days seem to happen more often than they should. And we just kind of sprinkle on that, well, it was a great day and everyone was having fun. I'm like, no, we're a professional service and we should be teaching them how to hold a timeline.
I feel like you're defending yourself right there. Everybody had a great time. It's okay that I went over. No?
100%, Todd.
That's
I've got worse. I have got worse over the years.
And I never go over time.
Nobody's watching me. Oh God, good luck. You guys don't have anywhere to be, right? Because we're gonna go.
We're going for it. It's a 90-minute session. You got 30 free minutes today. Screw what you like. The fact that
if I had an affiliate, I would have 75-minute classes just in case. We always get.
Oops, there it goes. Yeah. So Grant, again, Grant's newer coach asking, what if an athlete's trying the best they can physically do? So their front rack position, their squat depth, etc. As an example, should you stay relentless trying to cue them even if they can't do it? It's like the age-old question. I'll tell you what, Grant. I'll let like Denise and
no,
Lisa
give this
take
to the velvet brick. The velvet brick. Lisa Ray.
Yeah. I just want to really quickly say that this is not, in my experience, this is not even a newer coaching challenge. This is something that coaches of all levels and experience will come in, and we work with them on at the level 2s on this. It's like, even coaches that have owned affiliates for 10 years, I'm still pushing them to figure out like this relentlessness piece. So I love that you're asking this question right now in your coaching journey. So Lisa, let's hear it.
Okay. No, they're never there. The answer to this is, did you make change? They may not be at perfection, but in a cue that you gave, did you move the needle forward in their effort to try to get better off of your cue? Did they move the needle forward, and are they closer to perfect than they were? And if that's the case, that's better. And, I want you to continue to try to elevate those elbows. Or if you see that they have more to give, then change your cue. And so a lot of that stuff I take on myself as the coach, and it's not them, it's me. If they have more to give, they haven't changed enough, then I need to figure out what I need to say or teach or give a different cue. What's different? What needs to change about me that will help them be better?
Yeah, that's awesome.
I love
Oftentimes we as coaches can fall into the trap of making the decision for them that they're already working as hard as they can, right? It's like, oh, they have tight shoulders, or it's hard and they're already, and I want them to prove it to me. And so to your point, Lisa, it's like, what can I do? And Jess has this great comment up here. You're not going to achieve perfection. They can do just 1% better each time. And if I can't get them there, even that 1%, then it's like, can I approach it a different way? What's a different cue I can use to help them achieve that just tiny little needle forward?
Love it. I think in line with that question, how much movement fix should you be doing during the workout? I'm cueing the whole time, but experienced athletes are tuning me out. How would you handle this? Denise, I don't know that anybody can ever tune you out. Not when you're in full bore.
Denise is like,
Well,
I
she's a
don't
level
understand
5,
the question. How is that even
What
possible?
do you mean? Just have a voice like nails on a chalkboard. God, this question's got so many layers to it, and we can't know why they're like tuning out. We don't know that. It could. So we have to talk first about what some possible scenarios. Why is that? Maybe one is they don't actually understand what you're saying to them, and they're at intensity and they're just trying to survive. And the cue is, especially if it's a verbal cue, the music's on. Maybe they just can't hear you, or maybe they don't understand the cue. And maybe they hear all the things and understand everything, but they are like, no, I'm good. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And I say that because I've been an athlete in class and I've heard a coach say elbows up on a front squat. And I've been like, nope, I am quite comfortable where I am. Thank you very much. Like I've done that. So I understand that. But it all depends too on how safe it is what they're doing. If it's something that is dangerous, for sure, there needs to be a conversation after, and I would just explore and talk to that person and ask, do you understand when I cue you, what I'm asking you to do? Because that happened in one of my classes with a lady whose knees always come in. I'm like, knee, and she's like, I hear you and I'm really trying, I just can't. And I thought she was just ignoring me. So I think that you have to figure out what the root cause of this athlete tuning out is. And if it, and I can't, I mean, there's an infinite amount of things it could be. They're ignoring you. They don't respect you. Bigger problem. Okay. Oh, they don't understand. Well, now that's something you can do. You can change that. But I do want to say this. We're not in the business of trying to make like good humans. Like that's way beyond our pay grade. Like if you come in and you're a crappy person, you do the best you can and you keep going because that's your job. And sometimes there'll be no change. You have to then take it a little bit higher if that happens. But I think sometimes CrossFit coaches feel bad because they can't make these crappy people better people. And sometimes they change it, but sometimes they're just crappy people.
We had a conversation on one of our calls a couple of weeks ago. We were talking just about presence and attitude and, just asking one more question and peeling back the layers. And the conversation turned into those members that just for years and years, they're just grumpy and you can't do. And that's exactly, it's like every once in a while, it's just, you're just going to get someone who's just kind of an asshole,
Yeah. And just to like give something concrete there, if you do have the, the grumpy, crappy person in class, your job is to keep giving them cues, even if they don't respond, because that's your professional responsibility, and make sure they stay safe.
Yeah.
And if they're not a problem, then it just is what it is without talking to the owner. But if they're a problem and they're starting to affect other members and other members are now not listening because this person isn't, and they're doing this because that's a problem. And that's hey, come into my office. You're on strike 1. You got 2 more. And then you got to go.
Yeah, that's always a great litmus test, right? Like, is it this person and they're just doing their thing and everyone's like, oh, that's just Joey? Or is it starting to impact the experience of other people in the class? And if you can just keep that eye on that line there, when it crosses over, that's when it becomes an issue. Yeah.
I want to know what Lisa would do. What did you do in your gym with people? Because here's the other thing too. All you guys, Todd, Lisa, because you were affiliate owners, Cabo, we've been part of gyms where I think we had pretty high impact on the culture. But Lisa and Todd, you had the keys to the kingdom. You were the guys making the rules, setting the culture. Did you even ever have people? Did you even let it get to that point? Lisa, did you ever have that happen? And what did you do?
Yeah, lots of times. People are people.
Yeah,
I mean, they're just walking in all the time.
Great culture.
Well, I know. I mean, no, there's a bar at the door, and if you're a crappy person, you're not allowed in. So, we screen them before they ever enter.
Yeah, it's like
Pop their head off.
Metal detector. It goes off when they walk in. Oh, sorry. You didn't make the cut.
Bad vibes. Sorry.
Vibe reader.
You didn't pay for that apple.
I put a mood ring on them, and depending on what color the rock turns, they're out or in.
Yeah.
So great.
One thing that I found has helped is, if you've got some resistance and you don't know why, I will video people, and at the end of class, have just a chat with them and like, hey, I just want to share this with you. This is what I'm seeing. This is why I am giving you the cue that I'm giving. Is that cue just not connecting with you? And a lot of times, many, many times, I can just see these people in my mind right now. Like, we were so, as trainers, frustrated with them and just repeatedly like, oh, they're just, and we immediately blame them for being like unresponsive, uncoachable, whatever. They see that video and they're like, oh my God, I don't look like anyone else. It's like, I know, and that can be a really like wake up call. It's like when we record our lectures and we've been given the same feedback and we think we're fixing it and we don't understand why we're still getting it. And we see that video and we're like, well, wow, I get it. And so sometimes that can make a really huge connection. People aren't touching, their torso or locking out on a push-up and it's in Murph and, you've just given this thousands of cues and they're like, I am. It's like, can I just show you this video? This is why I'm giving you this cue. So sometimes that can clear it up. But I've had to have 2 or 3 people in my history of affiliate ownership where, I've had conversation like, look, this is how you're perceived. Is that what you want? And I don't really care. It's like, this is not the place for you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to coach me. This is not the place for you.
You're paying way too much money to use our equipment. I will tell you that right now, right? It's like you can pay,
if you don't want to be coached. Yeah, this is expensive.
Yeah.
That's a great comment from James that you put up here. Just leaning into relationship and caring outside of the moment and getting curious.
In that whole concept, there's just so many layers to this thing, right? Like first off, when I read the initial comment about somebody like how much cueing should I do during the workout? Well, I think in an ideal world, during our specific warm-up and general warm-up, we see what's going on and we identify the faults and we start to give cues and we find the ones that work. And then we just revisit those in the workout, right? Of like, hey, I shouldn't be finding a bunch of brand new stuff. Hopefully I've kind of identified by troubleshooting things in the specific warm-up and general warm-up. But to your guys' point, sometimes there's people that don't respond to you and don't want to listen. So is that somebody that's who they are? Then the conversation that Lisa just talked about is necessary and maybe they don't belong. I've also seen it to where it's like normally this person does exactly what you want. And for some reason on that given day or that given week, they've shut down and like are tuning you out. And I think a lot of times we take it personally and we're like, what's their problem? I can't believe that. But just like James said in that comment of like getting curious and being like, Denise, like you're never like this. What's going on? And then all of a sudden you uncover that there's something so much bigger going on in their life that makes it more understandable. So I think that's always it, is instead of assuming somebody's trying to be a jerk, I used to take offense to that because I was insecure as my coach. I was like, they don't respect me. They don't think I know what I'm talking about. And deep down, I knew I didn't really know what I was talking about. And so like it would always really offend me. And the more comfortable you get, the more you lean into it, you get curious, you ask questions, you try to figure out what's going on. And I think the more you show that you care about somebody, the more you'll start to uncover why they're giving you the pushback that they are. And that ideally will hopefully allow you to get to a solution. So many different directions we went with that one question, but I think there's a lot with it.
I want to give Katie a shout out here, agreeing about the timeline spending. She spent a long time, 2 years with her husband going around and doing coach development for coaches all over the country, and thousands of coaches she worked with, and timeline was always the biggest issue. That's interesting.
Well, we know why.
Why?
Oh gosh. There's just too much going on in general. There's a lot of people
trying to fit a lot of things in.
No, and it's not even necessarily the programming. I know we like to talk about the programming.
Mm-hmm.
Did you just say more?
Say more.
Oh, so Brené of you.
Yeah,
say more. We like to point right at the
best compliment you've ever given me, Denise.
Oh my gosh. I love her. Clear as kind. Yeah, it's easy to point fingers at the programming, and that can be a reason. However, let's say us 4 and maybe another 4 people who have been doing it as long as we have, we understand the movements, we get it, blah, blah, blah. We could maybe do a bit more volume within an hour. Would that be great for us in the long term? Who knows? We'll find out in like 30 years. But it's more how many people, how much equipment changing, how many bathroom breaks, like mobilizing troops from one area of a gym to it. Everything with more people just takes so much time. And I think we can just kind of transport into the next thing. But there's always some kind of transition period that often doesn't get accounted for. And that's where we lose time. So, and now back to programming. How many classes do you have of people of your caliber that are all the same and can do all the things? I would say probably 0 of all the members in the gym. So programming does matter for that reason. And back to what we believe in as CrossFit seminar staff, like the fundamentals are all you ever need. And there's a lot of work to be done in those 9 with a couple of high skill movements, like throwing some rowing, throwing a little bit of running. And you could be really, really fit and you will be able to do all the things. General warm-ups go too long. People just cannot get away from that, the sexiness of the general warm-up. And then the cool down gets left behind, which is arguably, when we talk about recovery, like it has to be in there. You're paying for what? Understanding what the workout is. I just did a workout. My hands are dirty. Sorry. Understanding the workout.
How when you put your hand up, you get blurry.
It blurs the background.
Okay.
High level video.
That's awesome.
Understand the workout and how you're going to be successful today. Get generally warm to do the next thing. Practice something, learn, build your thresholds through intensity, give a little test if you can, take a break, do the workout, cool down. Like that's what we're doing. But if you're not cooling them down, then they should not be paying the money. You're $200 a month. They should be paying $175 a month because you're not giving them the entire program. And you're basically showing lack of care by not giving them that recovery time. So what was the initial question? Oh, timelines. It's too much going on. It's too much going on.
You just blew this one.
I did. I went
inevitably, to your point, the cool down is what gets left behind because you get to the end and there's no more time because
and what do they say?
15-minute general warm-up and there's
oh they'll cool down after if they want. I'm like no, they have to go to work and they're gonna go sit in their car, and it doesn't even have to be anything crazy. It can be 5 minutes of just walk around the gym, get on their bike, do some leg cradles, but so today I took Christine Anderson's class. I drove over to it's like 30 minutes away, and I'm going to take a class. And she's building us up. She'll be fine. You're fine. I'm going to call you out, Christine. We're building up to the front squat. It was like 5 reps, and it was 105 for the women. And she's like, every minute we're going to do 3 reps. And so we did 4 sets. It was like 4 minutes. And we'd do the 3 reps, but then we'd have to go over and get our plates and put our clips on.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time I got back and figuring out the freaking clips, because they won't go on the bar, you know, sometimes you get those janky clips. I was already like at the minute, and she was going, "There's no rush, guys. You know, just take your time. Just do your." I'm like, and after class, I'm like, Christina, there was a rush. Like I didn't even. I was like 30 seconds behind every time because I had to go get my things. And Christina is an unbelievable coach. That's why I went to the class today, because I wanted to take her class. But she's like, yeah, you're right. That there was a rush. I'm like, yeah, 4 minutes to build up to like 155, 105. It's just not enough time. You know, you would think it is just 3 reps, what, 15 seconds, no big deal. But getting around, it takes a lot longer. Anyway, I rest my case.
And I think to your point with that is like, there's some different ways that you could approach that. Is 4 minutes enough time? Well, it could be if you planned ahead and was like, all right, guys, grab all the weights that you need. I'm going to give you 2 minutes on the front end to get everything you need and have it next to your bar. And you're going to take 4 jumps in 4 minutes and everything's already there. It's like those little type of like logistical things that a lot of people forget about, right? Where it's
it is enough, but what's the rush? Why does it have to be done in a minute? Why can't it be like 2 minutes? We have to also go around and coach and talk to people. That's the point. It's like we're trying to squeeze this can be done. Well, yeah, it can be, but how well is it getting done? And I'm like, stop with the 15-minute general warm-up and spend some more time on the thing that is potentially the highest risk of the entire workout, you know?
Yeah.
I think all of that. And it answers to maybe one of the 3 things that a new intern should have is create a plan ahead of time.
Learn how to make it. Yeah. Even if the lesson, so many programs give the lesson plans now. Are you both of the belief that even though lesson plans are given to the coaches, they should still take some time to learn how to create their own plan?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or at least walk through the one that's given to you. Do you even know it? Do you understand minute by minute how much time everything's going to take? And that then also looking at your roster of who's coming to class, like that makes a huge difference on how much time you need too.
And like logistically and logically thinking about it. All right, I read the plan. I know what the plan is. Is this realistic?
Yeah.
Not just like, oh, it says it's going to take 4 minutes, so I guess that's what it'll take, and be like, wait a second, how has that happened in 4 minutes?
I've definitely read some of those. I think it's great, like that coaches are getting plans and that is being provided to them. But sometimes I've read some and I'm like, I don't know how this would work. I don't know how this would go from paper to execution. Like it just, there's a disconnect. I don't think this is realistic. And so, yeah. And then making the changes to your point, Lisa, who's coming to class? Do you have a class of 8 people? Do you have a class of 28 people? Is it, are they all masters and brand new people? Is it your class that generally they've been coming for 10 years? So, so many different elements that come into play here.
Let's see what we got.
You know what that does too psychologically for a trainer who thinks they're just constantly failing because they can't meet these timelines. You feel like a big piece of crap. You feel like you can't do this. It's just unrealistic.
If you're being given the lesson plans and then you're repeatedly like, I cannot seem to. Yeah. And you don't have the experience yet to realize that it's not you. It's the plan is kind of unrealistic. Yeah, that's a good point.
A lot of the times it's just, sometimes it's not. And it's like, God, I failed and I feel terrible now. I couldn't do it. Like, am I not good? Do I need to, what do I need to do?
Yeah, I don't like to plug and play all the time. They definitely need to practice either walking through that or making their own.
Grant makes a good point about just getting used to talking to people. And Grant, tell me if I'm wrong, Grant, you're 18 years old, I believe, 20 years old, something like that. So brand new to this, dude. He's crushing it. I'm so proud of this guy.
These are great questions.
And so jealous that he's starting so early. But it's like, I do think that sometimes we're talking about the X's and O's and all the details here, when in reality, like, hey, let's go and check in with people. He says it next of like, hey, especially talking to people that you don't know or drop in, you do that kind of stuff and make those kind of connections, that goes a long way. And especially if you're new to coaching, or maybe you're an introvert, like those things are big.
Grant can come and work for me anytime.
Yeah,
I don't even know him.
Oh,
He's
he's close. He's in Vegas. He's close to where you're at.
So. Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Let's cover this question. This will be a good way to kind of wrap things up here. So Jess also agrees, like, big on looking ahead to see who's coming. How would you plan for that, for an L4 evaluation?
Lisa can't answer this because she is a rater, so she has to.
Yeah, I feel like you still can. I can answer that.
You can. You can. I'll tell you. I always like to go back to, like, who are the coaches generally, and generally, like I said, they're part-time coaches. Now, I don't want to breeze over what Lisa said earlier when she's like, you do have to invest outside of the gym. That's the care factor. It's like, no, you're not going to get paid to do it. Do you want to be better? You have to put in the time. But a rule that there's always worked out for me is you make a plan for the majority experience level of the class, which is usually something very simple. And then you look at your outliers. Who are your beginners? Who are your, like, advanced? And in the in-between phases, that's where you touch base with those people and you help direct them. But generally, we're going to do a push press. Yeah, we're going to dip and hold. We might even not dip drive slow. We might go right dip drive fast. But
what?
I know.
Why would you do that? That's not the progression.
Because I did a 15-minute general warm-up.
And I don't have time to do dip drive slow. There's no time.
No time. But a dip and hold, dip drive slow, dip drive fast, push press. When has that ever not helped people?
Right.
So just have a very simple plan for probably your intermediate kind of level, but you're not going to lose your beginners, and your advanced are not going to tune out. But then you got to connect with them, and that usually never fails if you're able to 2-1-2 and connect. You know.
And I think, to her point, a level 4 evaluation, if you're at that point in your journey, you've done so many plans, you've seen so many people, you have a general sense, and you can walk into a room of people you don't know, and the plan is how you're going to execute the coaching, the teaching. And then when you see the response to the teaching, whether that's in their movement, their attitude, whatever, you've been through so much by now that you're going to respond to what's in front of you, who's in front of you. And your plan is, you're able to flex easily by that point. You're not married to the plan. And B, the people who are moving in front of you, movement so well, you're just going to coach whatever you see.
And I think, like, to your guys' point, the people that are the best at anything are the ones that do the basics better than anybody else. So how do you plan for your L4? Get really, really good at the simple stuff. I think so many times, and I remember
don't have enough time.
As I was trying to get on seminar staff, is I thought everybody had these magical tricks and cues that just, like, fix things. It's like, you're not going to do the L4 evaluation and have this new muscle up progression that somehow gets everybody the muscle up. That's not the case. It's like, remind people where their feet go in the squat, ensure their feet are actually there, make sure their knees drive out and they get to depth, and just do that really, really well.
Make sure they're using the appropriate load for their capacity.
Know what the stimulus is and watch how their mechanics look under that loading and under the intensity that you introduce with your test round. And it's like, just do the basics really, really, really well. And that is what leads you to L4. Now, I don't know what it takes to be an L5. We're still working towards that with Denise, but
maybe the secret society. You haven't
don't talk about it.
Yeah, maybe that is the secret muscle up progression that gets everybody that walks through the door on top of the rings, regardless of age and ability level. But for the rest of us that are just trying to be L4s, do the basics really well.
Can I give a shout out to Amit?
Dude, that recent article, how awesome is that?
Has been writing articles and submitting them to professional, and they're so good. The last one he just sent, and Todd and I were so good. I'm like going to steal things. So good job.
He's got another one
coming up.
It's in November, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
So
he's doing some great stuff over in India for coach development, and
India.
Always love to see him on the calls.
All right, ladies, thank you guys so much. We don't want to steal all your time. We will be seeing you at Affiliate Con. We're a week away. If you guys are not signed up yet, you need to change your plans. sign up last minute, make sure it's there. Lisa, where else can people find you?
Good
Try to
question.
keep that under wraps.
She's in the undisclosed
I-
location.
No longer in Portugal, anyways.
Social media, and I guess that's it.
On the road at level 1 and level 2s. Just
Come
sign
and
up
see
for
me.
your level 1, sign up for your level 2, sign up for your level 4. Maybe Lisa will pop up and with the clipboard.
Yeah.
Denise, what about you?
Social media, usually just DM me. That's pretty much it. I'll come to my dungeon of glory here. Someone once said on one of the podcasts, was like, is she in jail?
She's down in the with the concrete
We try,
background.
but
Yeah.
I
I
meant to.
love the monochromatic look you've got going though. It's like I thought you were in a camo at first, but it's
Oh,
just,
I
yeah. Nice.
did too. She
monochromatic.
matches her background.
Oh, wait, guys, look. This is not a
So much more
striptease.
color.
oh,
Look
nice,
at you.
nice.
Let's
I was
go.
like, what's
For when
what's
I
happening?
worked
How
with
many
you
layers
guys.
down is that? That's
It's getting chilly in the
Getting
old
cold up
Boston
there.
area,
Yeah.
in the basement. But yeah.
It's
All
like,
right.
Well,
you,
ladies,
guys.
this is so awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. I always
thanks
love
for having us.
hearing all of your wisdom and learning more from you.
Who
Always.
is that? And
And
how do you
got it
know
right.
Ash?
They got it right. The metal plate just outside the
What?
door.
Where
There
are
we
you?
go.
Feeds
All
her
right.
They're in the
sporadically.
walls.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.
Okay.
Mwah.
Thank you for checking out this episode of the Best Hour of Their Day podcast. Now, if you're a coach who wants to coach more effectively, impact your members, and advance your career, then the Knowledge Pro is the next step. Inside, you'll get hundreds of coaching videos, weekly calls with level 4 coaches, and direct feedback on your coaching. From homework reviews to full class breakdowns, we do it all. This is the best way to grow as a coach and take your skills to the next level. Now you can join the Knowledge Pro at besthouroftheirday.com/the-knowledge. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen. Now keep coaching, keep improving, and we'll see you next time.